Welcome to my channel.
Life is relationships.
Below is a research-based psychological report written in a serious, academic tone with ethical framing. It explains how jealousy is triggered in the human mind, often labeled online as dark psychology, but grounded in established psychological theories and research findings rather than in ethical tricks.
Dark psychology secrets to trigger jealousy in anyone.
A psychological and research-based report. Jealousy is a complex emotional response rooted in evolutionary psychology, attachment theory, and social comparison processes. While often portrayed as irrational or toxic, jealousy follows predictable psychological patterns. This report examines the core psychological mechanisms that trigger jealousy, commonly described as dark psychology, and analyzes them through scientific theories, empirical studies, and cognitive principles. The aim is to understand, not promote manipulation, and to highlight ethical considerations alongside psychological insights.
1. Understanding jealousy from a psychological perspective.
In psychology, jealousy is defined as a perceived threat to a valued relationship or self-worth. It arises when an individual believes they may lose emotional, social, or romantic value to a rival. Key psychological components: fear of loss, ego threat, social comparison, attachment insecurity. Research shows jealousy activates the amygdala, fear response, and prefrontal cortex, interpretation and rumination, making it both emotional and cognitive. 2. Evolutionary psychology. Why jealousy exists.
From an evolutionary standpoint, jealousy evolved as a mate-guarding mechanism. For men, jealousy historically focused on sexual infidelity. For women, jealousy focused on emotional infidelity. This explains why perceived competition, even indirect, triggers jealousy automatically. The brain treats social threats similarly to physical threats. Key insight: jealousy is not learned first. It is biologically primed and socially refined.
3. The scarcity principle, dark psychology core mechanism. One of the most powerful jealousy triggers is perceived scarcity. Psychological basis. Based on Cialdini's principle of scarcity. Humans value what seems limited or in demand. How scarcity triggers jealousy. Reduced availability increases perceived value. Uncertainty creates cognitive anxiety. The brain fills gaps with imagined rivals. Studies show that emotional unpredictability increases obsession and jealousy more than rejection itself. 4. Social comparison theory and jealousy.
According to Leon Festinger's social comparison theory, people evaluate their worth by comparing themselves to others. Jealousy intensifies when the rival is similar, same social group. The rival appears slightly superior. The comparison threatens identity or self-esteem. Dark psychology element: the mind reacts more strongly to ambiguous rivals than obvious ones. 5. Attachment styles and jealousy sensitivity.
Attachment theory explains why jealousy affects people differently. Attachment types: secure, low jealousy, high emotional regulation; anxious, extreme jealousy, fear of abandonment; avoidant, suppressed jealousy, delayed emotional reaction. Research confirms that anxiously attached individuals are the easiest to trigger jealousy and because their self-worth is externally regulated. 6. The power of social proof.
Social proof refers to the psychological tendency to assume something is valuable if others desire it. Jealousy activation mechanism: attention from others increases perceived worth. Validation signals trigger mate competition instincts. The brain interprets attention as proof of value. This effect works even when no real threat exists. 7. Ambiguity, the darkest psychological trigger.
Clear rejection causes pain, but ambiguity causes obsession. Research in cognitive psychology shows that the brain dislikes unresolved narratives. Uncertainty increases rumination. Jealousy thrives on incomplete information. Ambiguity keeps the mind engaged, suspicious, and emotionally reactive. 8. Emotional contrast and withdrawal. Sudden emotional shifts, warm right-pointing arrow distant, create emotional dissonance. Psychological explanation: dopamine drops after emotional withdrawal. The brain seeks to restore emotional balance. Jealousy emerges as a coping reaction. This mechanism is linked to intermittent reinforcement, the same principle used in addiction psychology. 9. Ego threat and identity jealousy.
Jealousy is strongest when it threatens identity, not relationships. Triggers include feeling replaceable, Feeling inferior. Feeling invisible. Research shows jealousy spikes when self-esteem is externally anchored rather than internally stable. 10. Cognitive biases that fuel jealousy.
Several biases amplify jealousy. Confirmation bias, looking for evidence of threat; negativity bias, focusing on worst interpretations; projection, assuming others think as we do. These biases make jealousy self-reinforcing once activated. 11. Ethical considerations.
While these psychological mechanisms are real and research supported, intentionally manipulating jealousy can cause emotional harm, anxiety, and trust damage. Psychologists stress, understanding does not equal exploitation. Awareness should promote emotional intelligence. Healthy relationships rely on security, not fear. Conclusion.
Jealousy is not magic, manipulation, or mystery, it is predictable psychology. The so-called dark psychology secrets are simply natural cognitive and emotional responses triggered by scarcity, comparison, ambiguity, and attachment insecurity. Understanding these mechanisms empowers individuals to recognize emotional manipulation, regulate their own reactions, and build healthier relationships. True psychological strength lies not in triggering jealousy, but in mastering emotional awareness and ethical influence. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to my channel.